My name is Nora Caldwell. I was 32 the year I learned how a single manila folder could destroy a family. My grandmother Lorraine turned 79 on a cold Saturday in October. That morning, she baked her own birthday cake. Vanilla with buttercream roses. The same cake she'd been making since before I was born. She set the dining room table herself. 8 plates. 8 napkins. The good silverware. A vase of dried hydrangeas from her garden. Then she waited. Nobody came. My parents were skiing in Aspen. My brother Aaron sent a text about the snow. My father didn't even bother with that. I drove 3 hours from Hartford after work and arrived just after 8. The porch light was on. Every other window was dark. The second I stepped inside, I knew exactly what had happened. The table was still set. The cake sat untouched in the middle. The candles had burned into melted wax. Ice cream had collapsed into a sticky puddle across the tablecloth. And Lorraine sat alone at the head of the table, holding a glass of water in both hands. When she saw me, her face brightened. Nora? Then confusion crossed her eyes. Is it Tuesday? My chest tightened. It's Saturday, Gran. Your birthday. She looked at the cake. Oh. We ate cake with our hands because neither of us wanted to wash forks. I sang happy birthday. Halfway through, she stopped me. Start over. So I did. The second time, she closed her eyes and listened carefully, as if she was trying to hold on to the moment before it slipped away. That night, after I tucked her into bed, she suddenly became sharp. Clear. Focused. They think I don't notice, she whispered. Then she fell asleep. I couldn't stop thinking about those words. The Caldwells were the kind of family people admired from a distance. Money. Charity events. Country clubs. Perfect Christmas cards. My father had retired comfortably. My mother lived for appearances. Aaron owned a construction company and drove a car worth more than my yearly salary. Then there was me. The quiet daughter. The paperwork one. I worked as a paralegal in an elder law office. Wills. Trusts. Guardianships. Lorraine never treated me like I was small. She helped me rent my first apartment when my parents wouldn't. She taught me to read contracts line by line. Paper tells the truth, she always said. People don't always. Around midnight, I got up for water and found a business card hidden behind a framed family photo. Brenda Voss. Voss and Dean Realty. Written on the back were 4 words. Comp value. $680,000. The next morning, a woman named Ruth Adler arrived at the door carrying a leather briefcase. She handed me a sealed manila folder. Lorraine's handwriting stretched across the seal. Ruth looked toward the living room where Lorraine slept in her recliner. When you're ready, come see me, she said quietly. And don't discuss this with your parents before we talk. Then she left. Inside the folder were legal documents. A trust. A deed. Medical evaluations. Powers of attorney. And on top, a handwritten note. Nora. When they come for the house, open this. Everything you need is here. I love you. I'm sorry. It has to be you. I read it 3 times. Not if they come. When? 14 months earlier, Lorraine already knew someone would try to take her home. Monday morning, I stayed at the house. That decision saved everything. Hidden behind the hydrangea bushes was a realtor's lockbox. Inside Lorraine's mail was an off-market listing sheet. 4 bedrooms. 2.5 baths. Listed for $680,000. Below market value. Then I found an unsigned purchase agreement. Buyer, Stonewall Capital Group. Seller representative, Aaron Caldwell. My brother. A sticky note attached to the paperwork read: Closing target, November 15th. 3 weeks away. I called my mother. The moment I mentioned the lockbox, her voice changed. That's being handled. She doesn't know the house is being sold, does she? This is a family decision. It's her house. Your grandmother has dementia. Then she said something I'll never forget. She won't even remember the house by Christmas. The silence afterward hurt worse than shouting. Finally I said, good thing I remember. Then I hung up. The next morning, I met Ruth Adler. She explained everything. Lorraine had noticed her memory slipping long before anyone else admitted it. She got lost driving one day. The next morning, she hired Ruth. According to Ruth, Lorraine had said something very specific. My son will do whatever Diane tells him. And Diane will sell this house the second I can't stop her. So Lorraine prepared. 14 months earlier, while fully competent, she transferred the house into a living trust. The medical evaluations confirmed she had full legal capacity when she signed every document. And when she could no longer manage the trust herself, control would automatically pass to the successor trustee. Me. Not my father. Not Aaron. Me. That truth hurt more than I expected. Because it meant she knew exactly who would protect her. And exactly who wouldn't. When I returned that night, Lorraine looked up immediately. You saw Ruth. I froze. You remember? I remember enough. Then she told me something that made my stomach drop. They bring strangers through the house on Tuesdays. While the nurse was there, showing her home while she sat inside it. Aaron arrived the next day. Confident. Polished. Entitled. The smile disappeared the second I mentioned the listing. His company was drowning. A balloon payment was coming due. $740,000. If he missed it, everything collapsed. So you're selling Grant's house? I'm protecting the family. No. You're protecting yourself. For a moment, guilt crossed his face. Then it vanished. It's basically sold already. That night, I found more paperwork. A newer power of attorney. Signed only 2 months earlier. It named my father as Lorraine's agent. Attached was authorization to sell the house. I placed the signatures side by side. The older ones were strong. The newer ones shook badly. The date stopped me cold. September 3rd. The same week Lorraine had gone to the emergency room after a fall. The medical records described her as confused and disoriented. They had her sign legal documents while she was medically impaired. I photographed everything and called Ruth. The following morning, we spread every document across Lorraine's kitchen table. The trust deed. The original power of attorney. The neurologist's capacity evaluation. The September paperwork. The listing agreement. 5 documents. 5 pieces of truth. Then Ruth said the sentence that changed everything. The house belongs to the trust. They cannot legally sell it. Relief nearly knocked me over. But there was more. The newer documents might be invalid entirely. Which meant the sale could collapse the moment a title company saw the evidence. No shouting. No drama. Just paper. The truth didn't need volume. It needed proof. The week before closing was brutal. My mother started calling relatives. Family friends suddenly contacted me. Nora, you're confused. Nora, they're only trying to help. Nora, don't tear the family apart. My mother controlled narratives the way some people controlled rooms. Quietly. Smoothly. Efficiently. I said almost nothing. The documents would speak soon enough. Then Lorraine's younger sister called. I don't believe Diane for 1 second. For the first time all week, I felt less alone. 3 days before closing, my father came by himself. He sat at the kitchen table staring around the room. She used to sing Patsy Cline in here every Sunday. His hands trembled. Aaron's drowning. Diane says this is the only solution. You could stop it. For a second, shame appeared on his face. Then his phone buzzed. Diane. Everything closed again. He left without saying goodbye to Lorraine. The next afternoon, I bought another birthday cake. Just one candle. We're trying again, I told Lorraine. She smiled. I lit the candle. Make a wish. She closed her eyes. Later I asked what she'd wished for. She looked directly at me. I wished you'd stay. That almost broke me. We sat together while she told stories about planting the hydrangeas. About the maple kitchen table. About every scratch in the wood. Then she leaned closer. Don't let them take the table. I won't. The night before closing, we worked on crossword puzzles. One of her good hours. Not a good day. Just a good hour. Legal instrument of protection, she read. 5 letters. I smiled. Trust. She wrote it down slowly. Then handed me a folded note from her cardigan pocket. For Nora, the keeper of the table. The next afternoon, Ruth and I walked into the title company. The conference room felt cold. My mother arrived first. Perfect hair. Perfect smile. Aaron carried a leather folder. My father looked exhausted. The realtor came. The buyer representative came. Everyone sat down. My mother saw the folder in my hands. Her smile tightened. Ruth calmly began laying documents on the table. One at a time. The trust deed. The original power of attorney. The medical evaluations. Proof of capacity. Proof of incapacity. Proof of ownership. The title officer read every page carefully. Then she looked at the realtor. You told me the trust was dissolved. The woman went pale. Ruth spoke quietly. The trust was never dissolved. The title officer organized the papers into a neat stack. Then she said 5 words. I cannot close this transaction. Nobody moved. Aaron's knuckles turned white. My mother stared at me in disbelief. Then she exploded. This is ridiculous. Nora is a paralegal. Ruth didn't even blink. The trustee has authority. Aaron stood abruptly. If this falls apart, my company dies. Your financial problems are not this office's concern. Then he looked at me. Desperate. You're destroying this family. I looked right back at him. You tried to sell a confused 79-year-old woman's home while she sat alone on her birthday waiting for people who never came. Silence. You had her sign paperwork during a hospital stay. More silence. You lied to the title company. Nobody spoke. Even my mother stopped talking. Finally she pointed at me. You'll regret this. I stood. You don't get to decide what she's worth. Then I picked up the manila folder and walked out. Outside, the November air felt cold and clean. Free. When I got home, Lorraine was asleep in her recliner. I knelt beside her. It's done, Gran. Her eyes opened slowly. Did you keep the table? I laughed through tears. I kept the table. She smiled. Good girl. 8 weeks later, Aaron missed the balloon payment. His company collapsed. My mother's carefully built reputation began cracking around town. My father sent one email months later. 3 sentences. I should have done more. I know that now. I'm sorry. I never answered. Some apologies arrive too late to become healing. They only become evidence. Adult Protective Services confirmed concerns about financial exploitation. The September power of attorney was voided. I became Lorraine's legal guardian and trustee. I postponed the bar exam, moved into the guest room, and made sure she had dinner every night. Some days she forgot my name. Some days she thought I was 12. But sometimes she remembered perfectly. Those moments were enough. One Tuesday in April, I baked another vanilla cake. Nothing special. Just because. Lorraine walked into the kitchen carrying a crossword puzzle. Whose birthday? Nobody's. It's Tuesday. She sat at the maple table. Sunlight streamed through the prism above the sink, scattering tiny rainbows across the floor. She tasted the cake. Closed her eyes. This is my recipe. It is. Don't change it. I won't. We sat there quietly while sunlight moved across the table. The same table they almost stole. The same table Lorraine protected before anyone realized she needed protection herself. That's what I learned through all of it. A person's worth does not disappear because their memory fades. And sometimes the quietest person in the family is the only one listening closely enough to remember what love looks like. One empty birthday party. One manila folder. And one grandmother who remembered first.